Welcome back, film fans. This is another episode of The Usual Skeptics. My name's Wes Rathbone. This is Gabe. We are talking about Hollywood, anything news related, everything coming up, and we do rankings like we're doing today. Gabe, how you doing?
I'm doing great, my man. This has been something I've been wanting to do for a while. You know, we got Miss Marvel dropping here in just a few hours. Unfortunately, Wes and I live on the East Coast, so and we have jobs, and we don't feel like staying up till 3 a.m. watching the show. So it's actually we watch it Wednesday evening. So we thought, take this opportunity to go ahead and take our 5 live action. We're not including What If. Wes loves What If. Not gonna lie, not
I
a
do.
huge fan. But you know what? It is what it is, right? And but we are ranking the 5 Marvel Disney Plus shows leading into Miss Marvel, and going into our ranking, starting with our lowest, just like we did with our Spider-Man movie ranking, which you can find in the description below. But Wes, what say you, man? Let's get right into this thing. What's your
All right,
number 5,
let's
man?
go. Let's go right into it, my
Yeah,
friend. So,
let's go.
doing the live actions, he made me take off my dear What If. I really do like it. But that being said, taking that off, my number 5 today is going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier. For me, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I enjoyed most of it, but for me, it was just kind of lackluster compared to the rest of the live action series that they've got out. And the story to me was not where it could have been and where it could have gone. I do think that Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan did wonderful jobs in the movies and in the series, but I just couldn't get into what their characters were kind of doing throughout. And even Wyatt Russell's character is as Captain America, as the new Captain America, and then all that stuff. I was just wasn't really into it. So, but Gabe,
I
what
can see
do
that.
you have for number 5?
Ooh, my number 5. Okay, so um comes to no surprise. I've talked about this before in my TikTok, which you can find, shameless plug, at Voice of Film. You can just find that, search for it there. But I have said this several times throughout several of my TikTok videos, just when the conversation comes up. My number 5 is Hawkeye. And look, Hawkeye is my boy, right? I love Jeremy Renner. I think he's a great performer. He's an excellent actor. If you haven't seen Wind River, please watch Wind River. He joined with Scarlet Witch herself, Elizabeth Olsen. She is fantastic in that movie. Why that got 0 Oscar contention, I have no idea. Anyway, beside the point, huge Jeremy Renner fan. Going into Hawkeye, super excited. He's been with us ever since the Kenneth Branagh's Thor film, which I thought he was great in. I think that was his first introduction, if I'm not mistaken, as Clint Barton / Hawkeye. So I've been a fan of the Hawkeye character throughout the MCU. So when they announced, hey, we're doing a Hawkeye series, I thought, okay, sure. Not my. What story could you tell there? A lot of people were kind of theorizing, oh, maybe they'll tell
A
some of the
great
story with
story. It's
him.
okay. It's
A
fine.
great story. Well, maybe they would tell a great story. Maybe
You're
during
wrong.
his time, during his time during the blip. But no, it wasn't during the blip. It actually took place during Christmas time. Yeah. Oof. So I'm gonna focus on the good. Just real quick, I love the opening scene of the first episode, kind of recapping. I'm over flashbacks in the MCU. It's like, okay, I just let's push forward. I kind of feel the same way about Star Wars as a whole. Like, I love love Obi-Wan right now, love Mandalorian, but let's push forward, right? Like let's keep let's keep telling a story. And when Hawkeye came out, I was like, okay, where's this story going? Where are you going to take this character? Love the Avengers kind of flashback, kind of a change point of view from the Avengers point of view to Kate Bishop. That would be horrifying in New York. I love that opening scene, and it's got that long take. I'm a sucker for camera movements and the director's choice to use like a long take, and that was like several minutes at least. that was a great opening, and I was like, okay, I'm in. Oh God, by the end of the series, yeah, it's a L for me. It really is. But it is
And it's
at
a W
number
for
5.
me. That's fine. Go ahead.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And you like it, and I celebrate that. But for me, my friend, oh God, I wanted to like it. I was literally quite aggravated that the finale did not work so well. Vincent D'Onofrio, they turned him into a clown, and I hope they steer ship. And you and me can talk about this maybe off air. But they turned him into a clown,
Oh
and
no, it's fine. We'll talk about it later.
but you know, overall, it's not a. Is it a hot garbage show? No, it's not. But
I don't think any
compared
of these are
to,
like really hot
yeah,
garbage.
and I don't either. But if we're talking top tier MCU, it's definitely Hawkeye's on the bottom of the list for me. But
Yeah,
we obviously disagree on that. But without me going into any really positives, just one note. Just one note. By the way, Kate Bishop didn't like her character at first. Okay, middle of the show, I was like, okay, this character, the story's making me like this character. By the series ending, or I guess when they end up back on Barton's farm, I don't like the character again. So no, I'm not excited to see Kate Bishop again. I love Haley Steinfeld. Love, 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 love Haley Steinfeld. I will go on record right now. I do not like the Kate Bishop character. I didn't like the way she was written. Frankly, I didn't like the way Hawkeye was written. Anyway, before I rant even more, Wes, what is your number 4th spot?
definitely not Hawkeye. So my number
Welcome
4,
to Subjectivity, film fans.
yeah, exactly. My number 4 is and you know is Moon Knight. I loved the series. I really did. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed all of it. I know. It's
I
gonna
did
surprise
not think you would put Moon Knight number 4. Anyway, continue. Wow. I did
Yeah,
not
no,
know that.
you're fine. Yeah, oh, I know.
Interesting.
But whenever it comes to me watching the rest of these films that I've got, or these series that I have, it just didn't rank up there like it
That's
for
fair.
me. Now, Oscar Isaac,
Oh my God.
amazing,
Oh my God,
dude. Like,
let's
for him
see
to
the
be
rest
able
of
to,
the year. But dude, Emmy level acting.
oh yeah,
Like,
dude.
oh,
Whenever
so
you're
good.
going
So
in and
good.
out from different like languages and
Yeah.
not well, yeah, languages, but accents is
The
what
way
I
he
meant to say.
composed his face, though, like he
Oh
looked
yeah,
different.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
switching in and
yeah,
out
that
in
wasn't a camera
between
trick. That was
Steven and
all.
Mark,
That was all Oscar Isaac. Fantastic. Yeah,
and
I agree.
that last fight scene I really enjoyed with him switching out between Mr. Knight and Moon Knight, and
That's pretty dope.
that fight scene
Yeah.
was dope. And Khonshu, I'll tell you my nitpick was whenever the Khonshu and I can't remember the big gator woman
Oh,
that they were
start with an
fighting.
A. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
remember.
So
I can't remember.
but
Yeah, but
whenever
yeah,
they were fighting,
yeah.
it looked like Godzilla versus Kong, man. And I was just like, I can't, like I was just like, this is not it for me
Right.
at that point. But I mean, the rest of it was really good.
Is it
You know what I mean?
Arabit?
So
Arabit? Something like that.
yeah, it was something like that. I just,
Sorry, we're horrible with names. But
it's bad. And I have notes, but she wasn't on them.
we have the internet
that tells
at our
you.
disposal, or our disposal, I should
So,
say. But yeah.
but Moon Knight, man,
It is what it
like I
is.
said, and Layla's character, so whenever she gets the armor and all that, and then you know another thing that I was just like, it was like kind of cringe to me was whenever she's fighting, and then the little girl's like, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And she's like, "Yeah," and then goes back. I'm like, "Why?" Like that was awful. Like like
It came off as
no,
very
absolutely not.
corny. They could have made that work, but I agree that
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, my toes and arms kind of, I was like,
It was
ooh, I
so
kind of
cringeworthy. I was like,
cringed.
bro,
Like
this is really
a
not my thing
talented
right now.
filmmaker. Not saying these guys aren't talented. I think it was two gentlemen that helmed this whole series. Didn't mean to cut you off, but I feel like this is worth mentioning. You know, I'm not saying that they're, and I'll get to it when I talk about Moon Knight. Is, you know, you brought up a good point how that scene just ultimately didn't work on paper.
Mhm.
I don't even see it working. But a talented filmmaker, again, not saying these gentlemen, I can't remember the directors' names, but I'm not saying they're not talented, but I feel like at their level, because they showed what they can do with the rest of the episodes, surely they could have made that scene work. And to me, it just, ooh, that felt
It didn't
really,
work, man.
you could have done it
And you
even
know,
without
another
dialogue. I mean, you
yeah,
really
and then
could
the
have.
other
Yeah.
one was, you know, you have this amazing character that Ethan Hawke has played to get him at the very last of the series, and they get him in the back of a limo with Conchu there, and then
In a post
like
credit
they
scene,
kill him off. Right.
scene, like what? But yeah, in the post credit scene, that was kind of wacky. Like, ugh, that really irked
Yeah.
me in a way.
Well,
You
my whole
know,
thing is okay. I figured it out throughout. You know, like from probably the second time that he blacked out and everybody was dead around him. I was like, okay, there's got to be a third person here.
oh
You know,
yeah, yeah.
they could have introduced
Yeah,
him
yeah,
in one of the other
right,
episodes. Do you get what I'm saying?
right.
And then it would have made more sense at the very, you know, like, and not that it didn't make sense, but it would have made way more sense
Mm-hmm.
had they had that post credit scene, but we had already seen that character
Right.
come out in, you know, in Isaac, um, you
Oscar
know,
Isaac.
in his
Yeah.
yeah, Oscar
Fantastic.
Isaac in his portrayal of it. Like
I'm gonna jump
I
off what
wish
you're
that would have happened.
saying. We're gonna be critical about the things that we love, and we love Disney. We
Hmm.
love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We love Disney Plus. But this BS nonsense with these short freaking episodes has got to stop. It's got to stop because
Well,
and by the end of this, I'll maybe elaborate a little more on kind of what I'm saying because I don't want to spoil everything now. But every one of these MCU shows has done that. You logged in and you're like, oh, one episode's right at an hour long. Great, cool, because you know there's no commercials, right? But when you log in
mhm.
an episode of um, Moon Knight and you see 45 minutes, well, 7 of those freaking minutes are for credits, and it's
And then
I
let
don't
me
get it.
interject real quick. And then
Yeah,
whenever you have one that's 40 minutes, you cut that down to 30 minutes, and then the
instantly,
story feels rushed.
it does.
Always.
It does.
It feels very rushed. It's like
Ugh.
I really would have wished they would have elaborated on this, and this, and then they don't elaborate on it at all, and it just feels rushed, and you got to fill in everything. You know, I'd rather have it. I'd rather have it
And talking
like
about
length
Moon
out.
Knight, you and me talked Moon Knight every single week it was out,
Hmm.
right? And
Sure
we
did.
will call out Disney Plus or any studio or any programming or any movie or any show or whatever. We will call things out when they do something stupid, but we should also praise the same people when they do something right.
Hmm.
And going off of the last couple minutes of us being like, you know, what the crap are you doing, Disney? I will say the week to week release proves once again that it works.
Hmm.
How long did we talk about Moon Knight? For almost 2 months. Well,
2
6
months,
weeks.
man.
How
Yeah,
long
but I
how
mean,
long did we talk about Stranger Things season 3? Probably for about 2 weeks. Probably for about 2 weeks. Let's be honest. I know you love Stranger Things, but be honest. How I mean
but
the
let's be honest, you didn't watch the show, so
but
I really couldn't say a
I
lot.
was around people that knew the show and even they talked their heads off for about a week or two and then dropping it all at once and then you don't hear about Stranger Things until Stranger Things season 4 drops it in this date. With the Marvel Disney Plus shows, dude, we talked about WandaVision for like 8 weeks and even longer because the show was so good, but 8 weeks. That's
But
oh, you
but
know,
I will say, I talk to other people about Stranger Things and stuff. I love the show, and we're not going to talk about Stranger Things. We're going to talk about Disney. So,
But going
Gabe,
on,
that being said,
yes, we do need to get back on track.
what is your number? What is your number 4? Let's get
Anyway,
back to it.
my number 4, Wes was number 4 was Moon Knight. My number 4 is, I struggled with my 4 and 3 a little bit. I had to go a little bit back and forth, but my number 4 is Loki. I believe that was the third MCU Disney Plus show to come out. Look, like we said at the beginning of this thing, we don't think all these are garbage. We don't. But with Loki, you know, it had a great start. It definitely felt convoluted right about the time where he went to the, I think it's called the Void, that was in the show. When you get pruned, that's where everything that prune goes. They set up a lot of interesting things, and Tom Holland was great and all that stuff. He was fantastic.
Tom Holland, Tom Hiddleston.
Did I say Tom Holland? Tom Hiddleston. I'm sorry. Tom Hiddleston was great.
We did Spider-Man on the last video.
Hey, Tom Holland's great too. But you have Tom Hiddleston, and I think is it Sophie DeMarco, or who plays Sylvie? I can't remember. Is it?
Hold on one second. I got it written down.
Sophie, but she's fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, Sophie DeMarco. Right. Okay, I might be pronouncing that wrong, but I thought she did great. I liked her story, and I bought into that character. I did, but holy crap, man! By the end of that show, I'm like, this is very convoluted and it's confusing fans of the MCU. It's confusing people like me who know a little bit more than the average film fan. I mean, because people like you and me, Wes, we only represent like 1%. Maybe a little more of the overall movie going audience. You know, Endgame ended up being the highest grossing film of all time. Now it's Avatar with its re-release, but when Avengers Endgame made that much money, that wasn't all comic book fans. That was, yeah, we were 1%, probably a little more than that, but the majority of people are just average film fans. Like my wife, she has no idea who alternate Loki would, like, she doesn't know, right? She hasn't read a comic. She don't know. Well, that's how most people are in their life. They're adults and have important life things to do. But going back to the whole thing is Loki, you know, there were things that worked. There were interesting ideologies and exploring the lore. Dude, that scene where he's messing with that, he's left in the room by himself and he gets on that recorder and he's playing his last moments leading up to Thanos snapping his neck, and then it was the end. And I'm like, dude, that's rough, man. Not only did you see that you were responsible for your mother's death, but you died at the hands of the person that you thought, you know, gave you a chance in life, in Thanos. So to see that person kill you, that could be rough, and I thought that was great. I thought Hiddleston performed fantastic,
but
the back half, dude.
I think that
Owen Wilson was fantastic. He was great. He was great.
So, and I don't know, and I'll talk about where Loki is on mine later. So.
Okay. Well, to wrap up my thoughts on Loki, yeah, again, I thought it had a great start, very interesting ideologies, great more. There were more great, like, you know, plot points with Loki and where we found him and knowing what he knows in the near future and where that takes this character, which we'll see again, obviously, in season 2. But yeah, by the end, it just felt so convoluted. It felt very, like you mentioned earlier, rushed. It felt, they needed more episodes to tell that kind of story. You need more episodes. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Loki. Wes, what is your number 3 spot, my friend?
My number 3 spot is going to be WandaVision. It lands right in the middle. Just because I don't know, I like 2 more a little bit better than WandaVision. One of the reasons is, you know, and I know Gabe loves WandaVision, and but for me, in my opinion, it started off super slow. I didn't know where it was going. I really didn't. Honestly, I didn't like the first episode. Then it got better towards the end. But for me, by that time, I was just like, I'm kind of out. You know what I mean? But she won me back in Multiverse of Madness. So that's whenever
Like
I
we
was like,
said before,
okay, like,
they pull you back.
yeah, exactly.
They pull you
I was
back.
in it to win it.
And then to win it. I
But
love it.
for me, like I said, the just it just wasn't for me towards the end. But like I did enjoy WandaVision. Don't think I didn't enjoy it. It was great. I loved um Agatha Harkness and all that and her storyline. Like she is
Catherine
amazing.
Hahn is a
Catherine Hahn. Oh my
literal
gosh.
queen.
Yeah,
She,
bro, she's great. She was
she's
great.
so
She was awesome,
awesome.
man. That
Yeah.
whole storyline and like then you like it clicking and I'm like, ah, got it.
Yeah.
But it took me a while. And then by that point, I was just like, okay, let's see where this thing ends and get over it. Because
Yeah.
you know, I just that's my opinion on it. And Gabe, what is your number three?
Okay, so my number three, again, like I said a while ago, I struggled placing my number 4 and 3 spot because they're both right at neck and neck with each other. But I'm gonna have to go with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I agree with some of the sentiments that you had made. I'm gonna go a step further. Um, I think that they tried it kind of this movie done it better than Iron Man 2, in my opinion, but it felt like what Iron Man 2 was doing, trying to tell way too many subplots. I was more interested in the was it Isaiah, the
Hmm.
older the black gentleman that was tortured and things like that, and he was actually
Hmm.
super soldier. Dude, I was more like when he was on screen, and I can't forgive me, I can't remember his name, but dude, such a fantastic actor. That the scene that he was, acting in and telling what he had to go through just because he was a different skin color, and really makes you, come to that self realization of where our, it's kind of like the boys and how we talked about in our spoiler video with the boys season 3, the first 3 episodes is, you know, Falcon and Winter Soldier was also an allegory for where we see ourselves in America today. And
Hmm.
when you see the boys, you're like, oh God, this is funny. This is great. Ha ha ha. And then the next moment you're like, oh crap, this is America
Yeah,
today.
but that backstory though, you know.
Dude, that backstory, yes. But going back to Falcon and Winter Soldier is it's the same thing. This show really showed you, what our political landscape is today. And we're not going to go into politics. I'm just saying it makes you realize, these are stories that are, happening all around us daily. And then, again, with that character, that was probably my favorite moment of the Disney Plus shows. Not as Disney Plus shows, but as the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I should say, is that was my favorite, moments of the whole show. Baron Zemo back was great. I thought he was awesome. Almost wasted in my opinion, like toward the end. Like I'm like, okay, what's he going to do? What's he going? And he done some great stuff, but by the time it was over, I was like, really? That was it?
Well, I'll tell you what's
You know
wasted
what I
is
mean?
like Julia Louis Dreyfus' character, like Valentina Allegrande Fontaine or whatever.
Wasted. I'm not going to use the term wasted, but I see what
Bro,
you're saying. I see what you're saying. Like they didn't give us enough.
there wasn't a payoff because
Right.
the show felt rushed once again. Anyway,
Once again, I agree. But
so
one thing I will say this. I will say this real quickly. Well, I'm debating talking about it. Probably do a different time. Yeah, I'm gonna withhold what I was gonna say for a different time. You and I have talked off camera about it several times. But to finish my thought on Falcon and Winter Soldier again, like with Loki, it had a great start. I like it. I like where we found our characters moving forward by the end of the show. Bucky, I thought was fantastic. I thought the scene with him and that older gentleman in the beginning of the show, and you're like, oh crap! And once you figure out that he was the one that actually killed that man's son while he was the Winter Soldier, obviously it wasn't his fault, but according to his line in Civil War, he remembers every single kill that he done. So he
mhm,
knew he just had to confess, and I love that. I love the whole, Cap, what it means to have the shield and what it represents and stuff like that. So I thought that was very interesting. Again, tried to tell little too many subplots. I wish they would have just focused on one. For me, dude, take that Isaiah character and roll with that. I think that would have made a more compelling story and probably would have even topped my number one if they would have kept going with that. I mean, it had that potential. But that's my thoughts on Falcon and Winter Soldier. Wes, what is your number two, my friend?
Well, one more thing on Falcon and Winter
Yeah,
Soldier. One
yeah.
thing that I really enjoyed about that show was Bucky's struggle with knowing that he killed, his that Chinese guy. I can't remember, but him killing his family and then him being torn up about it and him doing all these like doing all these
Oh, yeah.
things
Oh, yeah.
to kind of forgive himself. Do you know what
Right.
I mean? For doing all that.
Wasn't
You
just
know
for
what I
him,
mean?
but for himself because,
Right.
and I'm
Mhm.
kind of glad we did. I'm eager to see what you think about this. I, I'm actually, I kind of like the fact that they didn't really show how that man reacted. Now he figured it out once he went to
Oh, he
his home,
figured it out. Yeah.
figured it out.
But me too. No,
But when he
I
closed
completely
the
agree. I think
door,
it
and then it kind of lets your brain kind of fill in the gaps, and I thought that worked very well. I heard some people
mhm.
complain that, oh, well, I wish we would have seen it. It's like, but you know what
But why?
happened,
But you
you
know
do,
what happened. Yeah.
because they conveyed that emotion to me as an audience member. To me, I got, now if not saying you, but saying you in general, if you didn't feel that, then, and it's all subjective. Not saying you're wrong and I'm right. Not saying that at all. Just
Mhm.
saying if it, it hits you a certain way. And to me, you know, I'm going to give you my opinion. I mean, to me, it felt good. It felt right. And I got that emotion conveyed whether I seen it or not. And to me,
Mhm.
if you can show and not tell, I mean, that just goes to show you. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Cool. All right,
So
man.
what's your number
Well,
two?
my number two is Loki. Um, I really enjoyed the whole you know, everything really about it. The multiverse that you get to see and all that other stuff, and then um, I thought it was cool that the higher powers were like robots, and you really don't get to see who it is until later on in the
Kind of little
series.
Wizard of Oz kind of
Yeah, yeah,
action. Yeah,
exactly.
I thought it was kind of cool. Yeah,
But I like the one thing that I really enjoyed is Loki trying to do the right thing but still be a bad guy in a sense, but also wanting to be good. Do you know what I'm saying?
right.
Throughout the whole thing. And then I mean some of the comedic stuff was awesome. Like you
It
had
was
an alligator Loki, you had like, this old man Loki, like all the different Lokis were
right.
hilarious and great.
Borderline
I really
ridiculous, but
enjoyed
it
all that.
worked. Yeah, it
Borderline
worked.
ridiculous,
Yeah.
but I loved like the storytelling, all the cinematography that it had for like, all these different places that they went to, and Owen Wilson's character was amazing. So good, man.
He was
I
very good.
man, it
He
was
was very
really
good.
hard to choose between my two and one because of the amount of fun that I had with both of them and watching both of them. And can't wait to see because if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they are coming out with a second season of Loki.
Yeah, I think they revealed that
So
in the credits of the
right,
finale. So yeah, I mean,
right. So
as much crap as I got Loki, I will say is, I mean, not crap. I'm just saying it just compared to the other three that I have in front of it, it just happened to fall in the number four slot for me. But
mhm,
with Loki, I will say this, that the character development of Loki, oh dude,
right.
top notch.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was saying. Like
that's
the
the
character
problem,
development.
and that's the problem I had with Hawkeye is when I watch Hawkeye, we find Clint, in my opinion, we find Clint in the same place as he was in the beginning of the show. From watching the Avengers play, he's the same exact person by the time him and Kate are at the barn celebrating Christmas with his family. With Loki, and that's fine, and that's fine. But with Loki, that Tom Hiddleston that shows up, he's like, I'm Loki, King of Asgard, or however he's
And they
awesome.
don't care.
No, they're just like slow motion. We're gonna punch you in the face and then lock you up. Yeah, but from that Loki, that version of Loki to the very end of Loki season one, where he's like, how do you not, how come you don't understand what I'm saying? When Owen Wilson's like,
Mhm.
yeah, let's, they were like, time up or something like that. And because he changed the timeline, and Loki was
Right.
destroyed because he was like, oh my God. So, like, by the
And
time
very
we got
compassionate,
there,
and
yeah,
you know what I
very.
mean? Like,
But the character
you know,
development. So, as much as I gave Loki a little bit of crap, that was one standout to me was Tom Hiddleston, the way
and
he played that and the way it was wrote.
Sylvie being the variant, and you know,
Yeah.
they're trying to find this variant, and at first you think the variant is bad, and you're like, well, no,
But
no
is
it's
she though?
not. It's
Right.
it's just
Asking those
I really
philosophical stuff. And that stuff And that stuff I liked, but with the whole explaining of the multiverse and stuff and getting our even more backstory in the multiverse in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, it's like you guys are contradicting yourselves, and we're not going to go on that here, but it does raise some eyebrows, and they're going to really have to clear things up moving forward. So
but I think they will. I think
I
that's
hope so.
what's but
I
Disney, I think that I
Yeah.
have faith in them
So you think
enough to be like,
Wally's gonna fight Thanos? Avengers
yeah,
5. Yeah. Why not?
yeah, why not?
As long as
Do it.
Lightning McQueen shows up and just,
Yeah, man.
attacking the Thanos copter.
That and the little
Yes,
kid
there
from
is a
Up,
Thanos
just
helicopter.
you know what I mean?
So
Getting his next patch for killing Thanos. Yeah.
ties a balloon around his neck. Oh, that's horrible. Well, man, what is oh wait, did I
Oh
talk about
no,
that was
what
your
is your
two? It's
number
my
2?
two. Ooh. So we're gonna go Moon Knight. I'll tell you why it wasn't number one. It would have been, but for one
Because it's got a crush
crucial,
on Wanda.
I do. I love Elizabeth Olsen. Okay. She's probably my second favorite actress working today. Love, 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 love Elizabeth Olsen. If you haven't seen Elizabeth Olsen in Hot Ones, it was pretty dope. Anyway, Moon Knight. So basically just mirroring what Wes said earlier about Moon Knight. I mean, Oscar Isaac was fantastic. His performance, we'll see what happens during the next Emmy, consideration and awards, but yeah, Oscar Isaac certainly delivered in every aspect. I mean, like I said, once he changed, we've already talked about this before, but once he's changing, between Mark and
Steven.
Steven with a V. Once he goes back and forth, even his facial expressions change. And at first I was like, ooh, that's a cool camera trick. That's a cool filter or whatever, right? But then they do that scene toward the middle of the show where they're in the desert and then the
Mhm.
camera's on him and then he changes as the camera's still on him. And I'm like, dude, that's all Oscar Isaac. Like, he's so good.
Yeah.
Now this is probably my favorite acted show so far of the Disney Plus shows, but we're talking about overall ranking, and there is one crucial thing that makes Moon Knight in my number 2 spot. But going into the rest of my positives, it's a great show. I thought it had a fantastic start. My wife was like, I'm done, but I like the MCU, so I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to keep watching it. She loves Oscar Isaac, though. Who doesn't? That man's awesome. Very handsome
Mhm.
feller. He's great, talented. Is it Lola? I think it
Layla.
was Layla. I thought the actress that done with her, I thought she was great. I'm like you, man. I didn't like how they, were handing out superpowers just left and right. Oh, you're a superhero. You're a superhero. You're a superhero. I was like, that, you talk about something not feeling earned. That wasn't earned. I mean, it was dope. The suit looked dope and was awesome and all that kind of stuff. And her talking to that girl, are you a superhero? She's like, yes, I'm a superhero or whatever. And I get it. I get what it's trying to represent. I get that. And for that, I applaud it. I do. But you're asking me if the scene worked. I don't think the scene worked. I thought it came off as corny, cheesy, and I did not like it. But for the representation part, this show does a really good job with that. And I thought did it very, very well for sure. As far as representation goes, yes, fantastic. I will give that a thumbs up. But that scene in and of itself didn't work for me. The Layla character, the back half of the show, like once she became that character, the new superhero, I was like, oh, really? Because none of they were breaking their own rules, right? With Khonshu, the
Mhm.
way he explained things in the first few episodes, and then in the last episode, I'm like, you just contradicted what you said like 5 episodes ago, dude.
Right, that you
but
have to choose an avatar and
right,
all
it's
this other
like,
stuff, and they gotta
what are
be
you
what
doing?
it's like
Like, make it one thing, right, and go from there.
yeah,
Handsome Hawk, how can you talk about this without talking about Handsome Hawk? Dude, he did fantastic, and he did better in the season finale than he did in all the other episodes. Dude, the sound effect of the glass breaking when he would walk, you could just subtly hear it. I'm like, dude, this is great. It's so good.
mhm.
But the Handsome Hawk character we've already explained before, dude, the fact that they killed him off screen, not off screen, but in a post credit scene, you're like, really? Why was this the post credit scene? I'm okay with not seeing the third
I
identity,
know, and, like, that's what I'm
but
saying, they got Harrow in
like,
the
I was
back of
so
this,
confused. Yeah.
vehicle, and then, you've got, Khonshu in the back, and he's sitting there
Yep.
all smug and in a suit, and that now, I will say in the comic books, that was the coolest Khonshu in the whole comic books. It
He
was
looked pretty
just
dope
him
in the suit,
was the
dude.
suit, yeah,
Hot
he
Toys.
looked
Look, Hot Toys. I plead with you. Okay, I plead with you. I'm not gonna tell you how many Hot Toys I have. Just not. It's an unhealthy amount, but
very unhealthy.
please, please make that Khonshu hot toy. Make any Khonshu hot toy. I don't care. But if I had to pick, dude, I'm going with your sentiment, dude. Make that suit, man.
I mean, that
That
was dope, it
looked
was awesome,
dope.
it was great, but I
It's
wish
so
I would've
cool.
seen it beforehand in the rest
Yeah.
of the you know
Well,
what I'm saying?
a friend of mine, and you know who I'm talking about, she watched the show. She was digging Moon Knight. She loved it. She didn't even see the post credit scene because she thought the show was over. And I
Right.
was like,
I mhm.
hey, what'd you think about that post credit scene? And she was like, what post credit scene? I'm like, you didn't see it? She was like, no. I'm like, now all other post credit scenes in the MCU, you don't have to watch because some of them are either just a quick gag, something to laugh at, whether it's Captain America doing a PSA for school about, patience, or if it's the ant playing the drums and I guess that was showing the world
Or
after
the
the
Avengers
after the
musical.
snap, the Avengers musical. That was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
It was
I
awesome.
got a
It was
kick.
dope.
I got a kick out of that. But yeah, like anyway, that didn't work for me. The fact that it was post credit scene, she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it." And then she went back and watched it, and she was like, "Why was that not in the show?" And she's not a comic fan like you and me.
My
She doesn't
points
know.
exactly.
And then that was the first thing she asked me. I said, "Well, did you finally watch it?" She said, "Why was that not in the show?" I'm like, "Exactly." So when you have the average film fans watching shows like she did, and again, you know who I'm talking about. When she watched that, she's like, why wasn't that in the show? Even she understood.
And for them
So
not to be doing a second season, what does it set up?
yeah,
That was my point. That's
yeah.
why I had it kinda
The
lower, man.
finale, if the finale delivered, I'm not saying give me the greatest finale of all time. I'm not saying that. But if
Right,
you
right.
gave me top-notch episodes like you did all the other episodes before that, then this might have been my number one. It's obvious what my number one is now, but it would have even topped WandaVision. But that's beside the point. Anyway, I like Moon Knight a lot. I even love it. But that finale, with that kaiju fight at the end with Khonshu and
I told you, like,
Amit. It was
Godzilla
Amit.
versus Kong, man.
Duh. It was Amit.
It was awful.
Amit.
Amit, that's what it
Amit.
was, but
Yeah.
still, it's like
Still, I'm
it was
like,
like
I
Godzilla versus
preferred
Kong
I preferred
in
that
the
fight where
pyramids
they
of
were
Giza.
in normal size, like in the
Right,
pyramid.
yes.
That was dope. That was cool.
That was awesome, but,
Why
like,
they
whenever they
grew
grew, like,
that
why?
made zero sense.
Why?
It made zero sense.
Now,
Wes. Oh, sorry.
one of the coolest scenes I thought in that whole thing was and, like, it was my favorite scene, I think, was whenever Moon Knight is racing up the pyramid towards Harrow,
That
and they're
was
coming
cool.
towards
And he
each other.
does, yeah, that little
Oh,
move.
yeah, dude,
That
it's
was
got the
pretty
moon in the
cool.
background. I was
That
like,
was
"This
cool.
is
Yeah.
awesome,"
Yeah.
because he, like, hits him in the chest with his knee and
Oh,
stuff, and I was just like, "Bro,
love
this
it.
is baller." Like, I
I
loved
loved
it.
it. I thought it was very good.
But like I said, I mean, like, none of these shows are horrible. We're just kinda nitpicking things that we just that's why they aren't our
Yeah.
number 1 or number you know what I'm saying? So,
It is what it is.
but,
So what's your
that
number
being
one,
said,
man?
we all know what my number 1 is by now. We all know what his last pick was because he's,
Yeah. Yeah.
loco.
Yeah.
But, anyway, my number 1 is Hawkeye because I thoroughly enjoyed Hawkeye, the whole thing. Um, I enjoyed it a lot. I really thought that Clint Barton's character was not meant to be at a different place. I think that they were like, okay, we're gonna let you be and let you go on about your business. And then Haley Steinfeld's character, you know, when Kate Bishop, she's going to be a the new Hawkeye, which is fine with me. But now, my favorite part of the whole series though was Yelena, because Black Widow, she proved
Right.
herself to be an amazing like actress that could take on the role as a Black Widow. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Now I loved her like all of the like one-liners and all these things, and Kate Bishop and um Kate Bishop. Like I don't know. It just it was fun for me. It was so much fun, man. And like the story that you got from Echo and her struggles between, you know, knowing that her that Kingpin was the cause of all her pain and all that good stuff. And then, the scene that really got me, and I know it got Gabe because we talked about this, is the scene where Clint gets his hearing aid knocked out and he can't hear his son on the phone.
Dude.
So Kate picks up the pen
Oh
and
man.
pad, writes down what he's saying. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, big man teared up. And you know what I mean? Like that's
I think any
that
parent would relate, because that was
right, dude.
you can't
Yeah.
communicate with your child. Like that's, ugh,
Yeah.
that's,
And but it was great storytelling for me.
it was
Like I
great.
was like, okay, like
It was
this
great.
is awesome.
One of the
And
best scenes of all the Disney Plus shows, for sure. For me, that scene was definitely up there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then whenever you talk about Kingpin and him not having, making him look like a clown. Anyway, like at the very end, whenever it cut scenes, they can't show somebody blowing their face off. But
He's alive.
in the
He's alive.
in the comics, this happens. And then
Yep.
Kingpin is blind. And that's what I think they're leading to with this.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And then Echo's going to get her own series, which I think is going to be awesome. Because like, for her to be a deaf actress, because she
That was
she is
cool.
a deaf actress.
That was cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I was
Well, the
like,
Native
this is
American representation too, I thought was
yeah,
very
yeah,
well.
it's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with you living on the reservation, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
great for them to be able to represent that stuff. And I don't know, like I said, I really enjoyed the series. That's why it got my number one. I mean, me and my wife watched it together and just laughed, a lot, and we're just like kind of like just watching everything, wanting to see what the next episode was. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like a Falcon Winter Soldier. We were just like, okay, are we watching this tonight? Or are we going to watch this tonight?
Right.
Type deal. I mean, honestly, I mean that's just how it was.
Yeah.
And we watched it when we could, But Hawkeye is something that I wanted to watch every week, week, just like Loki.
I could see that. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Hawkeye, like I said, not going to go on that again. But,
But we can disagree.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about this, man.
It's the whole thing. Yeah.
Like
That's the only thing. It's his
we don't have to
subjective.
agree on the same stuff, man. It would be a boring show.
It would be a boring show. So boring. Makes for a fun conversation.
Yeah.
Well,
so everybody knows your crush. So
everybody
go
knows
ahead and tell them what your number one is.
Elizabeth Reed starring in and the beautiful oh my god, Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah, I could talk about her acting all day, twice on Sunday, every day. But yeah, so I'm gonna go off what you said a little bit, because my wife kind of had the same experience. You watched the first episode, you kind of was like, what kind of is this? Like, what are they trying to do? Wanda is my favorite character in the MCU right now. So yes, over Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my boy. We done spent a whole almost hour talking about Spider-Man. We love Spider-Man. It's our boy. But in the MCU, as far as characters go, Wanda is my favorite character. My favorite scene of the MCU has Wanda in it. The whole scene with Thanos coming on Wakanda, wiping out Vision and company, and killing, when Vision dies twice within several minutes. That was pretty gut-wrenching. But yeah, that's probably my favorite scene of the entire MCU right now. So not only she's in my favorite scene of the MCU, she's my favorite character of the MCU. So going into this, I was obviously super excited. It might be a little biased. Like I said, I'll admit she's my second favorite actress working today. I love her. Okay. That being said, watching the first episode, you're right. Had a bit of a slow burn. I get that. But every episode got better and better and better and better and better. Just like Moon Knight. I thought every episode got better and better and better and better and better. But WandaVision, when I think it had 9 episodes, they were a little shorter, but I thought it had good cadence. I thought it told the story it needed to tell in that short amount of time. As critical as I've been about Disney Plus having these short freaking episodes, WandaVision done it in a way that worked, but I thought it was by design. I thought, WandaVision designed to be that kind of, 25, 30-minute sitcom. Let's kind of make it have that actual run time. And I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. That's a cool story beat, stuff like that. I didn't know they were going to do it with Hawkeye. I didn't know they were going to do it with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I didn't know they were going to do it with Moon Knight. I didn't know they were going to do it with Loki. It's like, really? 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes? Really? Okay. Let's go. So, but I thought it worked. That episode where Agatha kind of takes her on an acid trip through, her past, figuring out that she was actually a witch this whole time, that the stone just enhanced her powers, just had them manifest in her. Dude, that it's insane. The storytelling that they done. Catherine Hahn, once she showed up, my wife called it. She was like, "That's the villain."
So did my wife.
Yeah, first episode. That's the villain.
She was like, "Oh, she's a villain,"
and she only knows Catherine Hahn from like maybe just Step Brothers, and she loves Catherine Hahn. She's probably seen her in several more things, but I think she most knows her from Step Brothers. And she's great in Step Brothers, by the way. But yeah, once she shows up, I mean, you and me can figure out, right? What actors they have in there, unless they throw you in for a loop. You can be like, oh yeah, that actor, they have them in here for a reason. Once she showed up, my wife's like, villain. But was she the villain? Was it actually Wanda? She done some pretty messed up stuff, bro. Had everybody held hostage.
Dude,
it was rough.
And that's the whole thing.
Rough, man.
She did. She put herself in a villainous role.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying?
She
did.
You
know what I mean?
Oh, no, but I talked about that in my Doctor Strange spoiler review. I said, look, WandaVision.
Well, I was trying not to spoil
No, you're fine.
It's like,
no, you're good. Well, we can talk Doctor Strange now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, she put herself in a villainous role.
She did
through WandaVision, because you're like, well, she's just trying to, be normal with her kids and blah. Yeah. But she's holding real people hostage.
Like, what did that girl say? She said,
that woman,
can I see my daughter?
Broke, yeah. Can I please see my daughter?
Like, I haven't, in like 3 days. And you're like,
that's nuts.
What? Dude. So I've always thought, WandaVision gave her a pass. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness set her up as the absolute villain. WandaVision gave her a pass, but Multiverse of Madness did not. That's the only difference.
And we talked about this too. I don't think she gets a pass from here on out. You know what I mean? I think that she could be
especially not after Multiverse of Madness.
Like,
and I don't think she's dead
like
for
she
a
could help, but I just don't like after Multiverse Madness. I don't think that she comes back from that because she's done too much awful things.
She's not dead either. They love Elizabeth Olsen. She's an Academy level actress. People, she's revered among comic book fans and MCU fans. She's coming back.
Get off your high horse for Elizabeth Olsen. I'm just saying.
But no, you're right. Yeah, she's definitely coming back, but yeah, there's no coming back from that. And I love that how they were bold enough to, it's our first Disney Plus show. Let's give them something the fans can, and maybe we got spoiled, dude. Maybe that's why I'm a little more salty on all the other series, is because WandaVision, I think, spoiled MCU fans.
Mhm.
WandaVision came out of the gate and not only broke records, but you talked about WandaVision for months. For
I mean,
months.
and not to mention, like, you've also got the
The
Monica
theory
Rambeau
video,
story
dude,
in it,
she was great.
you know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
God, she was great. Thought she
Right,
was
we haven't even
awesome.
talked about her, do you
Didn't
know
even
what I mean?
talk about
So,
her. She was
her
great.
Randall Park as Jimmy Woo,
Oh, as
you know
Woo
what I mean?
back. Yeah, Kat
Yeah,
Dennings back
you
as
know, Kat
Darcy.
Dennings.
She was
You know, I
great.
mean, these
Paul
characters were
Bettany was
great in that
awesome.
too.
Paul Bettany was
Vision,
great. Was
Vision.
so great.
We have a white Vision now, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's just
Now
whitewash Vision. I'm
now
kidding.
whether he comes into play later on, we won't
He
know.
should have been in Multiverse of Madness, but
I
anyway.
think so too.
Yeah.
But at the
Besides the
same
point.
time,
Yep.
that's neither here nor there. I do think it's a great show. It's not my
Oh.
number one, but it is a really
Now,
good show.
you
You know
saying
what I'm
why it's
saying?
not number one, and you gave your reasons why of where it's at on your particular list. I understand. Like, I get it. I can
Hmm.
even get if they put WandaVision last place. I get it. You know,
Hmm.
I can hear people say, I don't like Star Wars. And I'm like, I don't know how, but hey, you don't like it. As it is what it is. I feel a little different about WandaVision. Like, if you said, yeah, WandaVision did work for me, I actually, I get that. I'm like, okay, I can see why you didn't get it. I mean, you don't have to explain to me why, but if you said, hey, I didn't like WandaVision, I'd be like, yeah, I could see why. But me personally, I'm going to tell you, like, oh man, I hate that you didn't like it, but oh my God, it's my favorite MCU Disney Plus show so far. Who knows? I mean, but that's our list. That's Wes's list. Wes, why don't you go down from 5 to 1? Go ahead and give the fans what your rankings were, and we will wrap this up, man.
All right, man. So, number 5 was Falcon Winter Soldier. My number 4 was Moon Knight. My number 3 was WandaVision. Number 2 was Loki, and my number 1 was Hawkeye. So, Gabe, let's run
Ooh,
down your top 5 and see
yeah.
how different they are.
And my number 5, I got Hawkeye. 4, Loki. 3, Falcon and Winter Soldier. 2, Moon Knight. And number 1, WandaVision. Again, this show is top notch MCU. I think it's great. And man, I cannot wait. Let's go ahead and talk again, going back to why we did this video, just to kind of give our thoughts on the MCU Disney Plus shows moving forward. We got Miss Marvel coming again in just a few hours. Got a busy day tomorrow,
Mhm.
my friend. We got Obi-Wan. We got Miss
Obi-Wan,
Marvel. We got The Boys
Miss
episode 4
Marvel.
on Friday. We are super stoked. Keep your eyes
Oh yeah,
peeled
man.
for our spoiler after show reactions, however you want to call it. Keep an eye on our channel for that. Wes, where can people find you, my friend?
All right, everybody can find me on Twitter at WesRathbone86. If you like the video, guys, please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what your top 5 are, because I'm sure that a lot of yours are way different than ours. So, or they may be the same, which would be pretty cool. And we can tell Gabe that, WandaVision isn't what it's cracked up to be. So, anyway, guys, that's where you can find me. And Gabe, let them know where they can find you, and then
All right. Yeah. And you can find me simply at Voice of Film. Just look for that there on TikTok or Twitter if you want to find my general crazy thoughts over there as well. Post daily on TikTok. We talk just the same way we do here, fandom related content, movie news, entertainment, goodness, all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, can't wait to see Miss Marvel. Can't wait to see where we go from there. Can't wait to see what the next show has in store for us. And we will be posting about that tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that. All right. It's been Wes. It's been Gabe. It's been fun. Can't wait for tomorrow. Again, like he said, drop your top 5 MCU shows down below in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that kind of good stuff. And we'll see y'all in the next video.